So, right-wing talking head and all-around conservative Barbie Tomi Lahren shockingly agrees with Joe Biden and his administration on how to handle COVID. What? Say what? You see, Joe Biden has recently come out and said, in so many words, I'm going to cuck myself to my Republican friends. I'm just going to give the GOP what they want. You know, we're going to let each individual state do its own thing. Some will quarantine, some won't. Some will lock down, some won't. Some will vaccinate, some won't. And, those who don't vaccinate, they'll probably travel to different states and infect other people. But you know what? It's America, it's freedom. I don't want to fight. I don't want to make a political thing out of this. So we're just going to let them do what they want. People will get sick, people will die, but hey, at least we'll have freedom, right? Everybody's happy. No, you idiot. No, this is something that requires leadership at the federal level. And that goes to both Joe Biden and Tomi Lahren. The fact that we have individual states doing their own thing right now is a big reason of why we're in this predicament. Why we haven't contained the virus yet. Why we see new variants popping up all the time. Because everybody's politicized it, particularly the right. Just making it all about freedom and liberty. The only thing these people are missing are kilts, the blue war paint, the tar shields, and the claymore swords. Chanting a beat, freedom. Oh my God. We're never going to beat this pandemic, man. This thing's going to be with us, much like the plague was in Europe, It's just, Tomi Lahren, Joe Biden, the whole right, a lot of these cucks on the Democratic side, they just don't freaking get it. You got to have leadership. This is where you need somebody who says, okay, you all are going to jump when I tell you to. And when I tell you to, you're going to say how high. Now, this will end once the pandemic is contained, once it's over. But no, he doesn't want to do that. He's just saying, okay, do what you want. I'm done fighting you guys. I'm done trying to convince you. That means Joe Biden has effectively given up, and he's going to let the pandemic stay with us for as long as it wants. Because people on the right just don't want to cooperate. They don't want to do anything that helps their fellow man. They just worry about themselves. And what's funny about this is they think things that help them are like ivermectin, a dewormer. Oh my God, seriously. Now listen, there are some home remedies. If your case is really, really mild, you could do the traditional cold and flu remedies, and that would mitigate the damage pretty well. That's what I did. I didn't have to go to the hospital, thank goodness. But other people haven't been so lucky. And right now, the people who are getting that virus are mainly unvaccinated people. On the right, typically. You got some on the left who are anti-vax, who are like, well, yeah, government's trying to, or the big pharma's trying to, whatever. But listen, we need real leadership. Joe Biden, and we warned the Democratic voters during the primary. We warned you guys of this. We warned you Biden was going to be a milquetoast, do-nothing dinosaur who's half brain dead and just goes along with whatever the Republicans want. We told you he would do that. And, of course, what do you progressives know? You need to fall in line and vote the way the Democratic leadership wants you to, because you're not being a team player and Trump's going to win. Y'all totally missed the point. You totally missed the point. You get lost in the culture war. You get lost in this two-party mindset. Team red, team blue. My guys, your guys. We're right, you're wrong. It's just not accurate as to what the situation is supposed to be about. Take a look at Japan. Japan had a really good way of dealing with this virus without having to lock down. I don't know if they did lock down at all. They may have a little bit, but what they did was they got mask mandates in place immediately when COVID came out. Immediately. And they were able to mitigate the damage like almost no other country, save for maybe North Korea, what am I talking about? South Korea and Vietnam, two countries who got rid of the original strain pretty well. They contained it almost better than anybody. Meanwhile, we're over here screaming about freedom and liberty, freedom and liberty. And nobody on the right cares about doing the right thing and, trying to get this virus under control so that we can get back to normal. God, I mean, it's amazing how they don't connect the dots on this. How, how do you people not see the mistakes you're making here in your logic? What you're saying makes no sense. What you think makes no sense. You want things to get back to normal. You want a thriving money-making system where people are making money and doing their thing. You got to get the virus under control. Period. If we're not going to lock down, if we're not going to give UBI checks to people, we at the very least need to follow an example of a country that kept things going and managed to keep the virus under control, which the best example, again, is Japan. Universal mask mandates, social distance, keep doing it. Of course, when you're talking about Japan, they have cultural differences, like they don't typically shake hands too much or get too close. They bow. They do social distance as part of their culture in many ways. So they did have that going for them. Here in the U.S., we're all up in each other's face. We're all shaking hands and licking each other and hugging each other and sucking on each other, whatever, you know. So it's a hotbed for a virus to spread. But, you know, it's funny how Joe Biden he's so infuriating when he does this. He cucks himself to the right. The right just says, you know, he's wrong because he's a lib or he's a communist, even though they have no idea what the hell they're talking about. And here you got Tomi Lahren, a right-wing talking head and just outright airhead, who's agreeing with him on this because he's taking the right's position. We'll never get this under control. Never. Once again, guys, buckle up. We're in for the long haul on this one. This is going to stick around with us like the Black Death stayed with Europe for a long time. So let's do the best we can to mitigate this and circumnavigate these idiots and whatever they put in place to try to stop us from getting vaccinated or doing the right thing, because we're going to be on our own here.